guys to be loud, rowdy, and have the most fun you can have here in Birmingham. We want to make sure that we're giving our guests the best Birmingham welcome that we can. So ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for your next panel? Well, without further ado, please welcome to the stage, first of all, Peter Facinelli! Give it up for Peter Facinelli, Birmingham. And the lovely Nikki Reed. Keep it going from Comic-Con Midlands, the cast of Twilight. Looking fabulous. Welcome to Birmingham. Hello. No.
What's up, Peter?
You're there. Give it up one more time for Peter and Nikki. So happy to have you guys here. First time meeting Nikki Reed. Doesn't she look stunning? My goodness. Doesn't Peter look stunning as well? She cheered for you. That's very sweet. Well, first of all,
I don't look a day over 250, right? My Carlisle's 350, but I don't look a day over 250.
right.
249.
249.
I got you, babe.
Well, first of all, you're no stranger to this Comic-Con scene. How's it been going for you with your adoring fans here in Birmingham?
I have a blast. I don't think I've been smiling all day. You know, people come up to me, they hug me and tell me they love me for 2 days. It's the best therapy in the world. Thank you. I love you right back, though. So thank you.
Nikki, how's it been for you so far with your adoring fan base here in Birmingham?
Oh, it's so lovely to see you all. So many people saying it's been, gosh, I don't know, 10 or 15 years since I've been here, so thanks for having me.
Aren't we so glad they came all this way? Yes. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I loved Twilight from the beginning, but even I was very surprised what a phenomenal franchise it became. I mean, obviously it's a global phenomenon. Did that surprise you, how quickly it latched on to be just, you know, this iconic franchise?
Go ahead. You take that.
I think it continually surprised us. I mean, we signed up to do what we thought was like a tiny little movie that maybe if we were lucky, we would like get to do a second one. If we were really lucky, maybe a third, but it was never really in our mind that was a possibility, so.
I don't think we thought we'd be here so many years later. I remember talking with the cast, going, you think we'll be able to do a second one? I don't know. And because the books hadn't really taken off while we were filming, there was a fan base, but it was a very small fan base. You know, it was like a cult fan base. And then by the time we wrapped the movies, I remember I went to Hawaii after we wrapped the movie because I couldn't be in the sun the whole time, so I was like, I need sun. So I took my family on vacation to Hawaii, and I saw people reading the books all down the beach. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And it still didn't click for me. And then I found out that people were tenting and sleeping, you know, for 3 days just to see the premiere of the movie, which was kind of terrifying because I was like, oh no, if they don't like this movie, this crowd's going to be very angry. This whole crowd that's been camping out for 3 days is going to run us out of town with pitchforks if they don't like this movie. So I was very grateful that they liked the movie. And then it became like wrapped in a bubble, so like we did the movies back to back to back to back to back, and then it became like one big blur. I don't think it ever really hit me. It's all right now. Oh my God.
Right this moment, exactly. Well, what we love about the Cullens is they're such a close-knit family, and they're so close and they're so loyal to each other. But it seems like, since I've interviewed the cast before, or so many of you, you really have a great bond between all of you, which is really, really lovely. But what were your earliest memories of meeting the cast and meeting each other? Was it an instant chemistry?
We flew over together.
Yeah, my first memory is
On with tinfoil in your hair for 6 hours. It's not that fun. Thank you. Somebody knows what I'm talking about? Sir?
Someone blind is very for sure. Well, there's been many iterations of vampires in fantasy movies. Were you guys a fan of that genre by any chance? And if you were, what sort of vampire movies or folklore were you into before getting into this role?
I had seen an interview with a vampire and, you know, a couple of iconic vampire films, but no, to be honest with you, it was not a genre that I previously gravitated towards. So I kind of learned to love it along with, you know, all the fans. I became a fan of the books, so I was a fan
I remember my agents called and they said, hey, do you want to do a vampire movie? And I said, no. Because I thought it was like, they had, at the time, they had like a slew of like bad vampire movies. It always goes cyclical, right? So there was like, Interview with the Vampire was a great movie, and then all of a sudden they beat it to death, and there was at that time, there was a bunch of like D-list vampire movies with a bunch of kids hanging out in caves, and like, it was like slasher movies, you know. So that's where my mind went. And then they said, no, it's based on a book, and Catherine Hardwicke's directing it. And I said, oh, I like Catherine. I mean, I like her movies. I said, when's the, because I thought maybe she knew something I didn't, you know. I said, when's the audition? And they said, it's tomorrow. And I said, okay, well, do you have a script? And they said, no. I said, well, it's based on a book, right? And they said, yeah. I said, so I went and got the book, and then I brought it home, and I was just like, all right, skip to Carlisle, because I don't have a lot of time here. And then, oh, Carlisle, okay, there he is, on page 40. Then I was like, oh, ooh, the most handsome movie star looks, I like that. How are they going to get me to look like that? I don't know. And then I started reading it, and I liked it so much that I actually went back to page 1, and I read it all the way through. And then I went to the audition, I had bloodshot eyes, and they were like, you're perfect. So that's how I got to it.
That was the secret, and the rest is history. I love that.
Alright, you want to know the real story of what happened? Because so the real story is I didn't get the part. That's the true story. And it's true. I read for the role, and I did have bloodshot eyes. And I went in and I read, and I thought I did a good job. And I had so much fun with Catherine, and she gets in there with you, she reads with you. So like at one point, like I'm playing Carlisle, and she's Bella, and I have like my hands on the director's thigh, and you know, I'm like, this is gonna look weird, so he walks to the door. And then I said, to my agents the next day, I said, hey, how did it go? And they said, well, you're on a list. And in Hollywood, that means it can be a list of 50, a list of 5, a list of 2. Nobody knows what this list means. And then I call every like a couple of days, so any news? Oh, you're still on the list. And then finally, I got a call about 2 weeks later, and I said, any word? And they said, yeah, you didn't get it. And I was so bummed. I was like, man, I really thought I did well, in an audition. And so for a couple of days, I was kind of bummed. And then I went to another audition. And in the lobby, somebody's going to wait to get in the door, there was a book on the table. And the book was a book that said 100 Years of Vampire Films. And in the book, there was like Bela Lugosi and Interview with the Vampire. And it was like this really cool book with vampire movies from like the 1900s till present day. And I sat there in the lobby looking at this book going, well, thank you, universe, God, for rubbing it in that I didn't get this movie. But I liked the book so much that I copied the name down, and I sent it to Catherine, because I thought, well, maybe there'll be another second movie or a third movie. Maybe I can be in that one, and I'll just wish her well. And I inscribed it. Catherine, had a great time in the audition with you. I hope that you make one of the 100 years of great vampire movies, and it makes it into this book one day. And that's it. I left it alone because I was just kind of desperate. And then a couple of weeks later, I got a call that the actor that they actually cast, because they wanted to go a little older with that role. They said either his deal didn't work out or he passed on. And they said to Catherine, who do you want to go to next? And she had just gotten my book that day. So I jumped to the top of that list. And she said, well, what about Peter Franchini? And I said, oh, we don't. That's great. Sounds great to me. So I always joke that I bought my role for $29.99. And that's how I got Twilight. So there you go.
We love that. Kindness pays off at $29.99.
One more little tidbit to that. So maybe like a year ago, I was at a fan signing con, and this girl shoved this book in front of me. It says 100 Years of Great Vampire Movies in Hollywood. Same book, but a newer edition. And she flips to the page and said, can you sign here? And Twilight's in the book. And so I copied down the book, and I sent it to Catherine, and I said, we did it.
That is a full circle. Yes, round of applause. his work. I had to mention Can't Hardly Wait in one of the panels, love it. And obviously you from 13, I knew your work as well, but I'm unfamiliar with how you got the role in Twilight. If you can walk us through the process that led you to the role.
So, hold on, I gotta rewind 15, 17 years for a second. This is not a story I tell often. Oh, hi! How are you? Are you coming up? Well, I mean, it's hard to call it that, right? I was working, you guys, I was working at a clothing store in Hawaii.
She was working
This is
in a cocktail bar.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen. So in between every film I've made in, my previous career in entertainment, I would leave, sorry, I don't want to make it too serious in here, but I would leave in between each film to go and experience life, culture, language. This was one of those moments. So not only did I do this pre-Twilight, but actually in between each Twilight film, I would leave and I would get these calls, usually from an agent or a manager going, "Where are you, Nick? You need to be, don't you want to be at the MTV Movie Awards?" And I would go, "I do, but I really am having a great time learning Greek right now. And so I'll be here for a while, or I'm in school in this country, or I'm working, this job here or there." And I think the reason, which has now, translated into this next chapter of life that I'm in now, I run 2 companies, is that I was always called to experience life maybe in a different way, or creativity in a different way. So cut to your actual question, which is, I was working in a clothing store, and I was pretty damn proud of myself because I had just moved up to a manager position. And I was opening and closing the shop, and I got a call from Catherine. I worked with her. We did 13 and Lords of Dogtown together. I don't know if you guys have heard of those films. Okay, a few of you. And she said, "Hey, listen, there's a really cool book that I want you to read. And I think it might end up becoming, a series, possibly. At the time, a trilogy, because there wasn't a 4th book yet." And I was like, "Gosh, that does sound great, but I really like my job right now." So I said, "Thank you, but let's talk in a little while." And so I was actually the first or second one cast in the films because of this. And I flew, a couple back and forths, and so I agreed to leave my little job and go experience this new thing, which would then turn out to be 15 years of life. And I flew to Los Angeles and I met with Stephanie and the producers, and I think I was number 1 or number 2 cast. That's the story, but the moral of that story is just that, especially as women, I'll just say to all of you, I know there are a lot of women here, it's really nice to not let one thing define you, and to not be afraid to explore some other, path or adventure or passion. It doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, I'm 37, I just had my birthday. I'm 37 years old now, so I'm an old lady. And I'm still, I'm older than you were when I met you. That's pretty wild, right? I was 19. Couldn't go to the bar with you guys yet. I wasn't cool enough to go to the bar. But it's nice to feel like no matter how old you are, especially as a woman, it's never too late to say, "You know what, I want to explore that. I can try that. I want to do that." So take that for what it is. Put it in your back pocket.
We love that. Sisters do it for themselves. Speaking of sisters, we have a question here at the microphone. Hello.
My question's for Peter. So in one of the movies, you whispered something to Edward before you bit him. What was that?
That is a great question.
Great question.
Whisper it to me right now.
So, when I went to meet Edward, I said to Catherine, I think it'd be really interesting if I whisper in Edward's ear something, because nobody will ever know what I whisper. It'll be a mystery. And she said, I love that. So, Whisper is here, and then I invite him. And I'm going to tell you guys, you guys, you're the only one. Don't let anything spill it. Okay, so, on the first date, I whispered in his ear, and I'm sorry. Because I felt like Carlisle didn't really ask for permission, and you should always ask for permission. Especially when you're going to damn somebody to eternal death in light. So he felt really guilty, and he wasn't sure he was making the right decision. So I said, I'm sorry, and then I bit him. And then the second date, I said, Rob, you're so handsome. And I bit him, and he smiled a little bit, and that's the ticket to the movie. So when you go back, watch that today.
A little smirk on the side. We love that. Round of applause for some insider info. Just between us, right, Peter? Just between us. Hi there.
Hi. Oh, hi. Hi. What song do you think would best describe your characters? Personally, I think Rusty would be Who's Afraid of Little Old Me by Taylor Swift.
Well, that's just me.
Can I borrow that? That's a really hard question. It's a great question, but I think I need more than 8 seconds to think about that.
What do you recommend for me?
Yeah, you answer the question.
I want to know what your recommendation for me now. I'm curious.
I don't know.
How about I Feel Like a Woman by Shania's waiting for you?
I'll take it.
Let's go,
I was
girls.
thinking of something Frank Sinatra-y.
Yeah.
But that's life. Not anymore.
There's a whole new career for you right now.
That's eternal life. See? Great question. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. What was your favorite movie to film and why?
I always say the first one because for me it's the most nostalgic because it's where it all started. There was something really special about that first one for a lot of reasons. Like, one, it felt like we didn't know what we were making, so there wasn't any kind of nervousness, like what is this thing we're doing? Is it going to be good? Like, who knows what it's going to be? And when we went out, like, it was crickets. There wasn't any fans, you know, in the middle of the fourth. I remember going out one night to like an open mic night, and Rob got up and played the guitar, and Jackson got up and played the guitar, and I got up and did comedy. And just so like there was nobody in the bar, and then when the second one came out, like we could barely ever go out like anywhere, so we ended up staying in a lot, which was very bonding as well. But that first one also, it was like Brittany's director, so I always loved what Catherine did with it, with the bluish hue, and she shot it more documentary style, so it gave like movement to everything. Yeah, and just sort of that first experience. But I like them all. There's different things about the movies that in each one that I like. I always say the first one.
Thank you. What's everybody's favorite of the 5? Number 1?
Let's do this. Twilight, raise your hand. Okay. New Moon, raise your hand. Thank you, Team Jacobs. Eclipse, raise your hand. Breaking Dawn 1, raise your hand. Breaking Dawn 2, raise your hand. Vampire Diaries, raise your hand. I know what you're waiting for. Like when these Twilight people get on stage, I can see Damien.
That's a very divided crowd. Thank you for that, guys. Thank you. Good question. Hello.
Hi. What is your favorite thing about your character?
I love how honest she is. I think I really like someone who can speak the truth and who isn't afraid to be a part of the less popular vote. You know?
I like that. I feel like that's like me too. You're very like, straightforward, honest, truthful. Don't sugarcoat things, and I've always admired that about you.
Oh, thanks.
And for Carlisle, I mean, his compassion is really beautiful thing. How he can be like the calm in the middle of the storm. I mean, I like more of that. Just the calmness. And I feel like being this rock for everybody.
That's very much like
Keep collective. Oh, you guys. Papa Caramel. Thank you so much.
It's everyone's pocket.
Hi there.
Hello, there's lots of trinkets in the film, especially the Collins and jewellery. I wondered if you actually took anything home, or like Rosie took your necklace home with you at all.
I wish we had more from the films. You know, I'm the person who drives 5 miles under the speed limit, who always wears my seatbelt, who, like, I am so afraid of breaking rules. And so I wouldn't take anything from set, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had just done that thing. Well, there is actually a woman here today who has a lot of my, she might even be in the queue right there. She has all of my outfits from all the films, and even they haven't been washed. So, like the dirt from the baseball scene, she's wearing it right now. So I don't have anything except one thing, that's my baseball shoes, and that's because Kristen was willing to take them for me.
So you made her steal them?
I did not. No, that was a manipulation of her.
Oh, okay.
She actually did it and dropped them off to me and said, I know that you won't take anything, so I want to make sure you have something.
That's a good friend.
It was very sweet, and I actually really treasure those, and they're in the top of my closet, and I can see them every day. I haven't worn them since, but I do wish I had my necklace or anything from the film.
Fred will steal for you. I mean, that's a pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm from New York, so I'm not joking. I'll take the towels at the hotel, the sheets, pillows. I can shove those in my suit. That lamp, that looks good. I'll take that too. Oh, there's a tire. I need one of those. But I'm this movie. I just took Carlisle's ring. Maybe. Anyways, listen, I didn't. But maybe I didn't. And then on the second one, they were like, do you have Carlisle's ring? I was like, no. And then we searched back. I was like, those pillows aren't mine. But the funny thing is, they made these replicas. You guys have the same exact ring as I do. If I put my ring in a bowl with the replicas, they were so well made, I wouldn't be able to know what the difference is in the rings. So, everybody has it. They did a really good job doing that too, because when I was a kid, they never made replicas that good. It was always like plastic, right? But they did a good job with the jewelry.
The attention to detail are vendors of a lot of the jewelry. Now, show of hands, who had Cullen jewelry and Twilight merchandise? Yep. I had your necklace, Nikki, and I think I have it somewhere, and I have Alice's, yes. The Cullen necklace, yes. Merchandise. We're going to do one final question. Thank you so much. Hello there.
This question is for Peter. Where were you when you found out you got the role for Carl?
Oh, I just told, that was the crazy story that I told about the book. Sorry, I went into that story. She also, does too, I said, ask this question, because it's a good story. So I'm going to give you another question, because I already answered that one. That was the whole book that I gave Catherine, and I remember I was home and I got the call that I actually got it, so full circle. But, let's give her another question. Ooh, oh, that's a really good one. That's really good. There were two actually. I like the baseball shirt. It was kind of cool. It was like vintage, you know. I always imagined that Carlisle, when he came to America, he came in the 1920s, and baseball was the national pastime. It was like, Babe Ruth was there. I imagined that he went to those games and saw Babe Ruth and fell in love with America as that was part of being American. So kind of took that pastime and with his own kids and infused that. And that's in my mind why they play baseball and not like I don't know, soccer or similar to cricket. But the baseball outfit, and then there's a shirt that I like in Eclipse, because I never get to wear short sleeves in the movie, and I just like that, it's like a blue shirt, and it's like, oh wow, Carlisle gets to show off his arms. And so I got to like not very long, sleeves on that movie, because we do a lot of fight scenes and stuff.
I like your scarves.
Scarves, that's a good story too. You know that too. Okay, so the scarves, so I know Damien tweeted back. He's like, "Super scarves, bring Damien out." So I'll tell you real quick. So I went to Catherine and I said, you know, I feel like, it's not in the books, but I feel like Carlisle is from the, an older period, hundreds of years old. They always wore like ascots and scarves, it's like very gentlemanly. And I thought, I'd like to carry that down, like it's something I still hold on to from his past. And so I thought having that, also to me felt like he was scared of, he was very vulnerable about his neck. So it was a dual purpose, like bringing that gentlemanly quality down from ages, and also having this security blanket around him. So we wore these scarves in the movies, and I felt like that he was like a distinguished gentleman, right? And then second movie, I wore scarves, distinguished gentleman, type of thing. Third movie, we get into this scene where we're gonna go battle these, do some fight sequences. And I said to the bad director, well, I can't wear scarves while we're fighting, it's kind of weird. I don't want to be like, sashaying people with a scarf. And so we're going to be flopping around. So I said, I need to figure out a way to get rid of the scarves. And so there was a scene where I talked to the werewolves, and I'm trying to enlist them to help us in the big battle. And I took the scarf off in that scene, because to me it signified vulnerability when he was asking for help. And then when they said yes, it freaked up, because I felt like he didn't need that security blanket anymore. And you never see the scarf until you need it. And that's the whole part of the scarf, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome. The backstory, that had a prequel backstory. Did you have a favorite outfit? Did you like to wear school stuff like flashbacks? Or were fashionable in the modern times?
I don't know, I'm so captivated by that scarf story. I don't even know where to go with that. We should move on to it.
Well, we know how to get back to your adoring fans. By the way, Birmingham, give yourselves a round of applause. You've been so lovely and so fun with the questions. We want to thank you. But just final quick questions. I mean, after you leave us here in Birmingham, what are you looking forward to professionally or personally? What's next for you after you leave us here?
We've been talking about spending more time together, all of us as a group, which is really sweet. We kind of went off and...
You like Italian?
Sure, you want to shoot Italian? Peter invites all of us to his house all the time. It's just hard to wrangle all the children, You've got all of us are, all his kids, we're all living in different places.
Dad, Mrs.
Well, I left that part of my career in that chapter a while ago, but I run two companies, so I work full-time. Have you guys heard of the Absorption Company or Value with Love? Yeah, that's awesome. So I work about 14, 15 hours a day, working on that, pulling 7-day weeks right now and trying to manage work-life balance. But I think that's what's on the horizon for me. I'm going to head home and get back to work. This has been a really nice, break from reality, and it's been fun. I've done a few of these now with these guys, and it's been pretty sweet. So I've got two companies today.
I'm going to go to Italy after this and have a holiday in Italy for a week, where I'll be meeting up with the Volturi, and we're looking for them. Last time we left off not on such good terms, so trying to get ahead of this one, but I'm bummed. Is this This is comedy gold, guys. Okay, bring in Damien. And then I'm going to go direct a movie in Canada. So that'll be fun. Yeah, in Canada. Yeah, Kenya would be way more interesting. Canada is I'll be in Canada directing a film, a romantic comedy actually. So, really exciting.
Are there stars in your next project?
You know who's actually in it? Seth Green is the lead in it, and Ashley Green. And Beverly D'Angelo from Christmas Vacation movies. Yeah, Vegas Vacation. And Reese Darby. Do you guys know Reese Darby? He's in it. Matt Walsh. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, we got two people that we're talking to that I can't say yet. To close the deals. But yeah, it'll be a fun movie.
Well, we're wishing you success in your projects, your philanthropy, your careers. Have they not been amazing? Thank you so much for being here.